I'm starving and can't move. Help me, Grandma." In the middle of the night, the phone suddenly rang, and when I answered the phone in a daze, it was from my 5-year-old granddaughter. "Where's Mommy and Daddy? Aren't you with them?" Then my granddaughter gave me a surprising answer. "Aren't they with you?" Having a bad gut feeling, I rushed to my granddaughter's house and found her crouching alone in the dim light. I was so shocked that I immediately called my son, but he didn't pick up. "Where the hell did you go, leaving your little child behind?" I trembled with anger, and after that, I was told the truth from my granddaughter's mouth and swore to myself to take revenge on my son and his wife. I'm Scarlett, 65 years old. My husband has already passed away due to illness, and my son and daughter have also married and left home. I am a former civil servant and have a decent pension, so I lived a carefree life alone without worrying about old age. My daughter, Sophia, got married 12 years ago, and now she is a wonderful mother of 2 daughters, ages 10 and 8. Even though she is my daughter, she is someone I can depend on. And my son, Adam, has a 5-year-old daughter, Emma, who got shotgun married 5 years ago. My son's wife, Aria, was a little flashy but friendly and got along well with my son. Their house was the one I used to live in. When my son got married, I renovated it and gave it to him. It was located in a quiet residential area, and the loan had already been paid off, so both of them were happy. In addition, my daughter-in-law taught me the principles of a mother-in-law, and I have followed her teachings and kept a reasonable distance from my son and his wife. They have been celebrating the milestones of Emma's growth and have had a trouble-free life. My son and his wife, who fell in love at work, still work together at the same company after marriage. My daughter-in-law's parents live far away, so when my granddaughter had a fever or something, I would pick her up from the daycare and take care of her. So Emma was also fond of me, and she had become the apple of my eye. At first, my son and his wife were grateful to me, but gradually they began to force me to take care of her as a matter of course. On top of that, they didn't hesitate to ask for anything they wanted. "Mother-in-law, Emma is an elementary school student next year, so can you buy her a backpack?" Of course, I'd like to go shopping with her and let Emma choose one. "Oh, we've already decided, so it's okay. Can we just get $1,500? I wanted to see Emma happy to see so many backpacks, but they refused and only asked me for money. I also bought backpacks for my daughter's children, but they weren't that expensive, so I was a little confused. However, I decided to give them the money only because I thought it was for the sake of my cute granddaughter. One Saturday early morning, my son and his wife suddenly came to our house with Emma. "I've got a little errand. Can you take care of Emma?" "Please." Once saying that, they left my granddaughter without waiting for my reply. On that day, I had promised to go to the show with my friends, but I couldn't leave Emma alone, so I had no choice but to cancel my plan. After that, even when my granddaughter was not sick, I was asked to babysit, and I was even asked to stay overnight. At first, I was happy to accept the cuteness of my granddaughter, but as expected, it was a burden on me as it was too often, and my body finally reached its limit. "Aria, I'm sorry, it looks like you've caught a cold. I don't want Emma to get sick, so I can't take care of her for a while." "Oh, okay." I told her so over the phone, but my daughter-in-law didn't say anything to me, and I was feeling a little lonely because I was somewhat dissatisfied, but my son also contacted me. "You are so heartless, I won't let you see Emma anymore." My son hung up on me once saying so. I was a little worried that I had said it wrong, but it shouldn't be. Well, we're the ones who get in trouble, and they'll contact us again soon. I was stunned by his terrible attitude, and I was worried about Emma, but I decided to leave him alone for a while. But less than 2 months later, I received a call from my granddaughter in the middle of the night. "I'm hungry and can't move. Help me, Grandma?" Emma's voice, which I hear for the first time in a long time, is thin and seems to disappear at any moment. The moment I heard her voice, I was surprised and shocked, and my drowsiness was blown away at once. "Where's Mommy and Daddy?" When I posed the first question that came to my mind to my granddaughter, she gave me an impossible answer. "Aren't they at your place?" What? I couldn't help having a bad gut feeling, and I rushed to Emma. And what jumped out at me was the image of my granddaughter crouching alone in the dark. "Emma, what happened?" "Grandma is here, so it's okay." In response to my voice, she slowly looked up, but her eyes were somewhat hollow and lifeless. Immediately, I hugged my granddaughter. "Emma, I'm sorry I left you alone." Then, my granddaughter began to cry as if she was relieved and regained her composure, and began to talk about her situation. What was told there was a surprising fact. She hadn't been to nursery school for a long time, and she had been alone for about 5 days. My mom gave me bread and sweets, but they were gone quickly. That's horrible. I've only been drinking water for a long time? Oh my God, no matter what my son and his wife said, I shouldn't have left my granddaughter alone. I was filled with the desire to turn back the clock 2 months ago. "Are you okay now? Did Mom and Dad take good care of you?" "Grandma will be fine." I replied like that, but my son and his wife did not come to my house. But I was wondering if it was okay to be honest about it. However, my granddaughter seemed to be sensitive to my situation. "Aren't Daddy and Mommy at your place? They said I should not stay with you, otherwise you could not get rest." It seemed that the two of them had gone out to lie to my granddaughter about it. I wanted Grandma to get well soon, so I put up with it for a long time. The granddaughter's sweet words make me even more angry at my son and his wife. According to Emma, they also told her daycare she would be absent as she was going to take care of her grandmother with them. Just as I was about to go crazy with my anger and irritation with my son and his wife, a dirty and faded backpack suddenly jumped into view. "What's up with this backpack?" "You know, Daddy got it from his friend for me." If what she said was true, where did the $1,500 I gave him go? I didn't think those two people used it for themselves. When I looked around the house again, I found that my son and daughter-in-law's clothes and shoes seemed to be expensive, but my granddaughter's clothes were all worn out. Maybe she only wore proper shoes and clothes when she saw me. When I bought clothes and toys before, he said, "Give me cash because I don't want to get something that isn't our taste." But I guess it was to put it in their pockets. I nearly got furious, but most of all, I had to protect Emma as soon as possible. For the time being, I decided to take her back to my home, feed her a delicious meal, and let her rest. When we arrived at my apartment, I decided to make her favorite mac cheese for fur. I love Grandma's mac cheese. When she took a bite and mumbled about it, she finished one in a blink of an eye. I want more. I thought from the bottom of my heart that I was glad to be alive when my granddaughter innocently said that with a relieved face. And at the same time, I swore to myself to show my son and daughter-in-law hell. The next day, I was worried about my granddaughter's physical condition, so I took her to the hospital first, and although she was mildly malnourished and received an intravenous drip, I was relieved that she did not have to be hospitalized. After that, I tried to call my son to find out where the two of them were, but he never answered. I couldn't make a difference, so I called their workplaces, and it turned out to be an impossible fact. What the hell are those two thinking? Can't believe it. As I was trembling with even more anger at the fact I just found out, I received a call from my daughter. When her husband went on a business trip, she saw my son and his wife at the airport. On top of that, when she called out to him, he ran away in a hurry. I managed to tell her random stuff and end the call with her, but this way I found out that they were boldly leaving their daughter behind and going on a trip. What were they going to do if something happened to Emma? Absolutely unforgivable. I felt my anger against my son and his wife welling up again. And it wasn't until about 3 days after I took care of my granddaughter that I was finally able to get in touch with him. "Where are you now?" "I'm taking care of Emma right now." "It doesn't matter where we are, we'll be back tomorrow." When he said that, he hung up on me. The next day, I left my granddaughter with my daughter and went to their house to ambush my son and his wife, who I did not know what time to come home. After waiting for about 2 hours, they finally showed up with a large luggage, as if they just got back from a trip. "You guys look like you're having a lot of fun?" Perhaps they were startled by my voice, their faces turned pale at once. When I tried to enter their house looking like a demon, my son tried hard to stop me, but I forced my way inside. "Now, where the hell have you been? It looks like you've come back from abroad, don't you?" "Well, no way. It's just a domestic business trip." It just so happened that I was on a business trip with Adam. Panicked by the interrogation, the two began to make blunt excuses, so I told them that my daughter's husband had seen them in the international lobby of the airport. Then my son and his wife looked at each other as if to say that they had stopped, and their cheeks twitched. "What I can't forgive is you leaving Emma behind. It's your fault that you don't babysit?" The daughter-in-law is also nodding next to her as if she is in tune with her son. "What were you going to do if something happened to you, leaving only one 5-year-old? If that happens, I was thinking you would come in. And didn't you tell me you wouldn't let me see Emma anymore?" I'm just stunned by my daughter-in-law's too selfish argument. On top of that, my anger finally reached its peak when he complained that they had left bread and sweets and did not seem to be remorseful at all. That's enough. I'm glad Emma called me, but I don't know what would have happened if I had stayed that way. It gives me chills just thinking about it. As expected from my heart's cry, they looked at each other with a disgusted look. "And that battered backpack at home belongs to Emma, and it doesn't seem like it costs $1,500, does it?" That's a spare. I was going to buy a new one." "Then I'm going to buy one with Emma, so give me back the $1,500 I gave you." I'm sure they've already used it, clearly upset. I also tried to find that Emma's clothes were worn out, but there were only painful excuses, such as the size won't fit soon. "You didn't spend the money I gave her, did you?" As if he couldn't find the words to say back, my son just glared at me, and my daughter-in-law looked away from me. "Oh yes, I called your company because I couldn't get in touch with you guys." "What? This is where they faced the facts revealed by the company. "You guys got a nursing care leave. I don't remember ever being taken care of by you guys, and I told the company the truth." "Oh my God, what did you do? I could almost get a promotion at work." My son turned red in the face and got furious, and my daughter-in-law fell into shock. What is he saying by putting what he has done on the shelf? I couldn't stand it because he was so selfish. "Anyway, I can't leave Emma to you anymore, so I'll take care of her." "Go ahead, I don't want a child in my way." As a mother, I felt beyond anger and even sadness at this statement. "I'll do that, and I'm talking to the police and the child protection, so we should be able to go through the process soon." Is it going to work that well? It will be a long, complicated process. That's not a problem. Emma wants to live with her grandmother. I wanted to respect my granddaughter's wishes more than anything, so I asked her in advance, and she replied without hesitation, I prefer Grandma. And you guys should get out of this house as soon as possible. What do you mean? You've probably forgotten about me, but this house and property are still in my name. I was planning to make it for my son and his wife eventually, but since he is a dumb son, I had not yet changed the name of the house and property after seeing how it went. As expected, they didn't care about the name of the house at all, and their eyes were wide open. Besides, I'm going to cut off the relationship between us today, so I don't have any reason to let strangers live there. Wait a minute. It was my fault. Please don't cut me off. Mother-in-law, please don't kick us out of the house. Both my son and daughter-in-law changed their attitudes from earlier and clung to me and cried. No, it's not going to change my mind. We're strangers now. When I told them straightforwardly, they shrugged their shoulders and sat down. After that, the two were questioned by the police for leaving the child unattended for a long time. In addition, they were found out by the company that they had taken nursing care leave illegally and left their child behind to go on a trip. My son was transferred to a subsidiary, and my daughter-in-law could not bear it and resigned. I heard that they had lost their homes and were living in a shabby apartment alone. On the other hand, I want to be able to get custody so that I can take care of my grandchild and educate her so that I can live with her. Emma has completely recovered, and I am living my life with the help of my daughter's family to help